Sit your ass down. Sit your ass down. Let's talk about the suffering. It's time to start the pay. Sit your ass down. Sit your ass down.
And strap in. This is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt.
Let's talk about the suffering. It's time to start the pay.
This is gonna hurt.
It's time for the Suffering Podcast.
What are the factors that you would expect to be an interference with the duties of your job? Possibly you can't comprehend the scope of work, or disability may limit your action. The definitions given for appearance, gender, orientation give no limitations to the capabilities that you can perform. Society likes to put others in categories to make it easier for them to accept their own preconceptions about how a job should be performed. It takes an enormous amount of work to break these molds and show that a success or failure in any job has less to do with the characteristic or the physical, but rather on the mental limitations that we put on ourselves. We are limited only by what we have set in our mind as an internal governor to achieving what we really want. If you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're right. I'm Kevin Donaldson here with Mike Failace, and on this episode of the Suffering Podcast, we sit down with Marc Hettinger to discuss the suffering of a gay firefighter. So that sort of gives away what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, there's no hiding this one.
No hiding this one. We've come out of the closet with the name of this one.
At least Mike just did.
I've been waiting for that for a long time. But the funny thing about Marc is it's less about doing your job, which should be the most important thing, and more about everybody sort of makes it about who you are. And I think that's really bad. And Marc brought his fiance, I guess is the proper term.
Yeah.
Nick, we met for the first time, and Nick's over there. He's like, "What the fuck is this?"
A little quiet,
shit?
You can say hello. It's all right.
Please don't ask me a question.
There.
Thank you so much for coming in today. Because
Marc is like family to our podcast.
Yes. Well, why don't you tell everybody who your sister?
Yeah. My sister was on
I had
your
to think about that one.
Yeah, there you go. What was that, about 4 weeks ago?
Oh, God. Ashley was on, it's probably like 2 months ago now.
Really? All right. Yeah, so my sister was on a few months ago talking about her suffering.
Yeah, and that was the suffering of a transgender, which was an interesting, it really was an educating experience for me. Because I had a lot of questions. The whole thing could have been just me asking questions like, what do you do here? How do you tuck it back? What do you do?
We did talk about tucking it, though.
Yeah, I was like, how do you do that? Like, I was curious about it. Like, what? It's got to be humongous if you're going to tuck it back all that way.
Or if it is humongous, does it come all the way up your back? Go ahead.
Before we get into anything,
Enough about Ashley.
Before we get into anything, let's get into this week's social media question, and it comes from Ron. Ron's asking is, what is a way to stop discrimination? But what I think Ron is getting to is, if you had carte blanche to make policy, what do you think would be something that you would put into play in order to stop discrimination?
I don't know if there's a way to stop it. It's been here since the beginning of time, and I think it's going to be here till the end. The only thing we can do is discipline it.
You know, it goes both ways, too, with discrimination, because the gay community does discriminate, and they discriminate against me, and I feel very, very beat down by it. No, there's truth to it. You see the way I look, and believe it or not, I'm extremely open-minded. Hey, you guys do you, I'll do me. Whatever you want to do behind closed doors is up to you. Don't do it in public, because I don't like when a male-female kiss and make out in public, and I don't want to see two guys kissing out, or maybe two girls.
See, that's discrimination now.
There you go. You just discriminated.
You just discriminated.
My point is when most gay men meet me for the first time, and I had neighbors, twin boys were gay, they're very standoffish towards me. And I don't know whether it's just the way I look. They're judging me on what they think I am. Oh, this guy's he's a Republican, and he's gun-toting and stuff like this. He's going to hate me. He's going to beat me up. Oh. When it couldn't be more polar opposite.
I think you're just hanging out with the wrong crowd.
It could be.
If I took you out, you'd be fresh meat, buddy.
You ain't bad.
Take them down to Feathers in Hackensack.
Nah, that's not a place. We got a place to take
How do
him.
you know where that?
I used to work in Hackensack, right?
I'm tired of paying for drinks all night, so maybe it wouldn't be such a. You sell a pretty good product there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've said for years, because women can agitate the shit out of us, and Michael attests to this. I just can't get over that. Like that's my one thing I can't get over. But this is what
Hey, you want to run your car on a brick wall? Go for it.
But this is the kind of conversations that people need to have, and this is why it's important for us to have you on here. Being a first responder, being a firefighter, you're going to get our humor. I'm going to speak to you the same way I speak to everybody else, because I don't have that discrimination bone in my body. I'm curious about certain things that you have to go through and certain suffering that you have to go through. But I'm gonna laugh with you. I'm gonna joke around with you, and I'm gonna sit down and have an honest conversation. As long as I'm not offensive and coming from a place of hate.
No.
Would you agree with that?
100%.
See, that's the problem now, too, with comedy, because you can't joke about anything because everybody gets offended by it. Political correctness is ruining this world. If you have any kind of racist tone in you, that's when you get mad at a joke.
True, because there's some truth to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's what it is.
Archie Bunker we were just talking about it the other day. All in the Family was one of the funniest shows ever
Right. But
because they weren't racist.
if it's said to you without hate, it's a statement. It's a
And if
comment.
it's said to you behind your back, then it's hate.
Right.
If I say it to your face, it's not hate.
If I were to sit there and speak to both of you in a different fashion because you're gay men, that would make me just as guilty as somebody who, in my mind, somebody who speaks out openly and tries to change policy because they don't understand what lifestyle you lead. That's my opinion.
Yeah, well, like Mike said, it depends on the context. Is it coming? Is the statement or the phrase coming at you in a hateful way, or is it coming at you in a friendly, playful, don't understand, so I'm making a joke out of it kind of way?
Mike and I, we've been friends for quite a while now, so I'll make fun of certain.
Let's use that term loosely. We've known each other for quite a while.
I will make fun of certain attributes on him that the stranger off the street couldn't do. If we didn't know each other and, I made an offensive comment to you, you would definitely take it differently. But because we've had some sort of interaction on the phone, text messages, emails, and when you came in here, there's a level of comfort that has to be given.
Yeah. You have to understand the person you're dealing with, no matter what their orientation or gender or expression is.
But you don't fit the stereotypical markers. Let's put it that way.
No, I confuse a lot of people.
And that's why it's important for us to have you in here, because you're in a profession that is not
male dominated, macho.
Yeah, that's sort of looked down on, and people have to be closeted because they're afraid of that backlash when it comes to that stuff. And I think it's wrong. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. It's wrong. Are you a good firefighter? That's all I need to know.
Try your best.
Yeah, you try your best. So why don't you give our audience a little bit of window into who you are and where you've been.
So I've been a fireman for 22 years now, an EMT for about 20. I volunteer for a tactical medical team. I'm a fire inspector.
Tactical medical team.
Yeah, we
Thames.
Yeah, tactical EMS. We prior to
for like mass casualty incidents.
Yeah,
and
prior
like
to all this active shooter stuff, we started back in 2011-ish, and we would stage forward for events, high-profile events. In case there was an incident, there'd be a medical team on site, and our team goes from doctor all the way down to EMT.
So as far as triage, stuff like that, you'd have to get involved with. Active shooter, from a police standpoint, it's the most counterintuitive thing ever, because you're walking into an active shooter, they tell you, if your partner gets shot, leave him. Which, think about that as being a firefighter. Your buddy goes down, falls, you'd have to leave him. I know you wouldn't, but...
It's a different mindset, and I envy all the officers that have to go through it.
Our SWAT team was taught different, though. If you go into an active shooter in a school and you see a student down, you go past that student. If a fellow officer is down, you get him to safety.
When did that come in?
That's how our team did it.
That's how your team did it, but that wasn't, because I was taught the protocol was a little different.
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of got their own standard, their own operating guidelines.
Yeah.
A couple of people I work with, it's identify, triage the injury, and keep moving forward. So, like, if you can drop a tourniquet and the officer can take care of himself, keep the operation moving.
But how are you going to keep your head straight if you see one of your fallen brothers or sisters laying there, and now you're going to leave them laying there and go on? You're not going to have the right mindset.
I don't know whether I could do it.
It's tough. I don't envy you guys for having to make those decisions.
No, we don't have to make those anymore.
Thank God we
Long
don't
gone.
have to make them anymore. We can sit back and Monday morning quarterback the whole thing. That's the joy of what we do here. So you've been doing this. Where'd you grow up?
Closter.
Closter?
Northern Bergen
That's
County.
right. I should know that. I keep forgetting we know Ashley's.
They're like this, Kev.
It's
Upper Bergen County.
It's Upper Bergen. Yeah, it's a whole
We
Bergen.
were west of the tracks.
That's what Ashley says, but there is no poor sections of Bergen County. There's no ghetto.
No, once you get up past Route 4, north of Route 4, that's where the rich people start. I'm from from Lower Bergen County.
I don't see a whole lot of projects in Bergen County.
Don't worry, we're 4 houses north of 4.
See, there you go.
Nick, where are you from?
I'm from Rockland County.
You're from Rockland. Oh, you're a New York boy. You're like by Orange County Choppers.
No.
No, that's
Rockland County.
Is
Well,
that
that's Orange
That's
County.
that's Orange County?
No,
I
it's
was
something.
close to Orange County.
It's something new. Orange County Choppers is actually in Orange County.
you're
You know,
such a dick.
there's a Rockland County Choppers in Rockland County.
Where's that freaking wig? Put that wig on, so we can just sit there and stare at you all night. Oh God!
I mean, it's something new. It just started. Go ahead.
And now you're living in Jersey.
Just over a year.
So what's better, New York or New Jersey?
New York.
New York. Well, you're from upstate New York, so what I know.
I wouldn't call it upstate if I were you.
No, that's
It's not upstate.
But I know there's a difference when you say somebody's from New York. You have to differentiate between New York City. Mm-hmm. Yeah, then they become really offended. No, we're not from New York City.
Nope, from the suburbs.
So obviously we have you here for a reason,
Yes, sir.
and I'm more interested. Is this being gay? Was it? Did you just get the idea one day?
Yeah.
Nah, you kind of know.
Or like everybody says, is it a choice?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's a choice. You know, my grandfather was real old school. He was but he had a very open mind when it came to stuff like this. He used to tell me, and this, you got to remember, this is the 80s, so the atmosphere was much different than it was today. He always told me that, he goes, don't ever discriminate against gay people, because if you think it's a choice, it's going to be a very difficult lifestyle moving forward, especially in the 80s. Why would you choose to make your life more difficult?
Yeah.
It can't be a choice. And the other thing he told me is don't ever get into a fight with a gay guy because they've been fighting their whole lives and they'll kick your ass. That's exactly what he told me. And he goes, it's a no-win situation.
You're a little taller now. You got a little bit of an advantage.
He says it's a no-win situation because if you win, you beat up a gay guy. If you lose, you got your ass kicked by a gay guy.
That's what I tell everybody. You really want to see a gay guy kick your butt?
That's why I say that about Star Wars fans, because I'm a Star Wars fan. A Star Wars fan will kick your ass up and down. But anyway, so like when did you get this inkling that you knew?
As far back as I can remember.
Tell me what
Just
was
you
going
feel
on there.
different.
Feel different? I don't think you feel different. That's just you're normal, where you're pushing
you
against.
Feel, right, you feel normal, and you're being persuaded to be what people consider the norm, and you're just outside that norm. So you feel like a little disconnect as you grow up.
You're being almost pushed into what would be the common,
The stereotypical.
this stereotypical male growing up.
You were given toys. You were given trucks instead of Barbies.
I preferred the trucks.
You prefer, sorry, of course, but that's a stereotype. That really is a stereotype. Oh, he's a gay little boy. We got to give him dolls and we got to dress him up. No, we don't. We absolutely don't. They're boys just like everybody else.
Yeah, there's no difference. Just your orientation.
But you have a very interesting family background that's got a whole different wrinkle to it.
Yeah. Yep.
Your mother and father had 3 boys.
Yeah.
3 boys.
Yep.
And only one of them is straight.
No. Well,
Not
yes.
anymore. Yeah, see, this is
That's a hang up on our end too.
This is where it gets tricky.
this is where the lines become very
10
blurred.
minutes in, that didn't take long.
The lines. So
He's
Ashley
going for a new record.
Ashley is a transgender
Correct.
who likes women, so she is now gay.
Correct. Lesbian.
She's lesbian. She's a lesbian, and you have a brother who's gay.
I have a
as
middle
well.
brother who's also gay. Lives in Philly.
Was there like certain kind of paint you used in your house?
No, it's the water.
I blame
it's
the
the
top.
water
Yeah,
in
I
Upper
blame
Bergen
I
County.
blame the top water.
Oh, that's why you're gay.
See, now that's fucked up. Here we go.
You're from Bergen County.
I said in Closter, north of Route 4.
Oh,
Don't worry,
okay.
our water makes its way down to you.
But it had to be difficult trying to figure this out when you see the other boys in your class going, getting girlfriends. Did you ever try?
Oh yeah, I had several girlfriends growing up.
Yeah.
It was
how's
fun.
that make you feel now?
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat.
Oh, you are?
Apparently, I had 3 girlfriends at once. I didn't even know.
Very nice.
Good for you.
See, that's why we gotta start hanging around these guys.
No.
Oh,
We
we
just-
make really good wingmen.
We just get the shrapnel and we're all right. But what was it like when you? At what age did you finally accept it?
I want to say in my teenage years. So in high school, I had a friend in high school who was openly gay, and he got it every day. At the end of the day, he'd get his butt kicked. He started the first alliance in the school. It wasn't popular back then.
Well, how old are you?
I just turned 40.
Okay, so
Just turned 40.
you're of the same generation.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not I guess you're Gen X. Because millennials view it, they got a little easier time, but somebody had to pay.
Yeah,
had to
I
pave the
think
way.
the years lay out. I'm on the border of both generations.
Yeah.
But so I kind of kept my head down and just avoided the subject because the spotlight was all on my friend, the other individual.
Did you feel bad for him?
Yeah,
And think that maybe I should step up, because I'm feeling the same way he is?
Didn't know how to back then.
Yeah.
The climate was still a lot different.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking mid '90s.
2000, yeah.
2000?
Actually, no, 98 to 99, 2000. I graduated in 01.
In '01. Yeah. So it's even
Because
then.
it really wasn't socially acceptable back then.
No, there were no safe spaces. There were no clubs, organizations. It was, you were on your own back then.
And how did you navigate those waters?
I don't know. The firehouse, the firehouse kept me on a straight and narrow path.
I knew he was going to say straight and narrow.
Yeah, I know.
Straight.
The firehouse kept me straight.
Throwing up softballs for you again.
This
could be fun.
Do your schoolwork, keep your grades up. They guided me. Where my parents where my parents stopped and the civic or the social side started. They were there to keep me on the same path that my parents had me on. So kept my grades up as best I can. Because if your grades dropped, you couldn't be at the firehouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I started firehouse at 16.
What's that, like a junior fireman type thing?
Junior, probie, then you become a level 1, and you keep moving up.
Now, you said you always knew. What? Talk to me about how you always knew. Did you see guys on TV? I know when we were young, we'd see girls on TV. I'm like, wow, he's kind of hot. Is that what it was like?
In my younger days, it was kind of like both sexes were attractive.
Yeah.
I didn't really care whether it was male or female. If you were attractive, you were attractive.
Okay.
And then as I got older and I started understanding more, learning more, getting involved more, then my interest swayed more to the gay side.
Okay. So did you eventually had to have your first boyfriend? Was it in high school?
Yeah. I dated on and off. Couple friends here or there.
Yeah. I mean, not being technically closeted, correct? Is that the term?
Yeah.
Okay. How does that conversation start? It's like, hey, you want to show me mine? You show you. That type
I said,
of
was it more like exploring?
It was no different than when you were kids. How did you pick up a girl back then?
Do you like me?
Yeah, I mean,
Check the box, yes or no.
That's it. I mean, our generation had to. You did it with a look, man. You can't tell me you never walked into a bar, looked across the room, gave a girl a look, and 10 minutes later you're talking.
Do you see his face? He gives a girl a look like that, she's running for the door.
That's why I asked your look. I mean, we had to use.
Well, they used to call it, what, gaydar.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah. We
Guys have gaydar. They know when guys are gay.
Your generation. We had to use social cues.
Yeah.
These kids today, it's yes, no, and text message.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
And now you can boop your phones together and see if you get each other's information.
Yeah, well, they got it easier, but again, like I said, your generation and our generation had to pave the way in order for them to have life a little bit easier. But that's always the way that it goes. When the onset, and there's been gay individuals and lesbian individuals since the beginning of time, but certain cultures it was more socially acceptable, to be. I think the French used to call them foppish, or during Revolutionary War they used to call them foppish people or dandies or something like that. They would have different terminologies for them, but it was okay to wear a wig. It was okay to wear makeup, to, I guess, exude your sexuality. And then for some reason in I want to say in the 1800s, early 1900s, being gay was just, nope, you don't do that. It was, I guess, the whole religious movement and stuff like that. It was just something that wasn't acceptable.
This goes back to the cooties conversation we had.
Well, you know what? That's a good point, Mike. That's a good point. You
Thanks.
got one or two. So
That's one. So I only got,
I want to get some things out there.
He's got one
I got
left.
another 45 minutes to get one more in.
So what I had heard that gay people like children. Is that true?
No,
Okay, that's not true. Okay, there's one myth. Second one, do you have cooties?
not that I know of.
All right. And the third one is, did you have AIDS?
No.
Okay. You missed the whole 80s AIDS thing. It was a gay disease, and don't go near gay people. They all got AIDS. And that was what was commonly thought. And these are the conversations that need to happen so people can get rid of that ignorance.
Yeah, it's closed-minded.
Do you think the real turn of that is when Magic Johnson came down with AIDS?
He was one of them. Tommy Gunn, or Tommy Morrison.
Tommy
He
Morrison.
had him. And Greg Scarpa, the mafia captain, he got it. All of a sudden, it's just not for gay men anymore.
No, I think the table is the seesaw is swaying there because there's now meds to prevent it.
Yeah, you can live a long.
Prevent it.
Yeah, I did see that commercial.
Yeah,
That's. But it still comes down to you shouldn't have promiscuous sex,
right.
whether you're gay, straight, or somewhere in between. Right. You shouldn't have promiscuous sex because there's other diseases out there.
Correct.
Stuff that lasts a long time. He's probably got 4 or 5 of them.
I plead the fifth. Had.
So the first time that you had an experience, a gay experience or homosexual experience, and let's forgive me for not having the right terminology.
No, you're good.
I don't know. Did it just feel like, this is it? This is
It felt the same as yours.
no. Well, listen. The first time I kissed a girl, I'm like, this is right.
Right.
This is
The
feels
old
normal.
Proverbial fireworks going off.
Right.
He's reliving those first moments.
Yeah, exactly. It was only a couple of weeks ago.
You got
Look at him.
You beat me to it. You beat me to it. But it was because you had said you had girlfriends before. Did that feel wrong?
No, it felt the same.
It felt the same.
The feeling inside you is you prefer one more than the other. Mm-hmm. Or you don't prefer one at all.
Nick, was that the same with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the same. Is that common amongst the gay community? I know all you guys know each other, just like all cops know each other. All the gay people know. Is that true?
I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't differ.
That's another myth. Right there, that was a fourth myth.
Everyone's experience is different. The times have changed, so things are more acceptable. We're not where we need to be as a society yet. But where I had to hide things, the younger generation doesn't. Because like you said, we've paved the way. So they don't have to have that first kiss in private or in secrecy. They can explore and feel more comfortable.
The problem that I have is the pushing of sexuality either way on really young people before they start to have those feelings. I don't prefer it. Like my 9-year-old got taught this stuff in class, and I wasn't in agreement with it. I'm not in agreement with them learning human sexuality in general at that age.
I agree with them letting children know it's out there, that you may feel this way one day.
There's gay, straight, heterosexual, there's transgender, and say these are the things, but that should be the extent of it. Definitely defining terms.
Let them know what's out there.
Listen, I could be a dinosaur when it comes to thinking like this. I really do.
I don't have the statistics with me, but we both volunteer for GLSEN, which is a educational, it's a LGBT educational group that helps create safe spaces in schools. We help get information and material out to teachers and educators, stuff like that. And I think the age for your first sexual experience is down to that age group.
So don't tell me that.
If you look up the statistics, it's down there. They're experimenting at that young of an age.
But that's something they can find out on their own without it. It just seems very forced to me. I think that's the problem. It seems very forced. Like we have to get this out there because we have to show how woke we are. We have to show how progressive we are. I don't necessarily believe with believe that.
It's tough. If they're going to start experimenting at that age, do you want them to have some guidance and some knowledge, or do you want them to just learn on their own without it? It's a tough, and especially as a father, it's even tougher.
Ultimately, it's the parent's job. It's the parents' job to do that. Like my kids, I'm very liberal when what I let them watch. You know, hey, listen, you watch, you got some questions, and it sparks discussion. Is what you want.
Yeah,
it sparks discussion. It's very the way I grew up is you weren't allowed to watch anything that was a little bit risque on TV. Of course, we did. You know, but we had to deal with scrambled porn channels. That's what we had to. Is that an elbow or a boob?
The antennas on your TV?
Is that an elbow or a
rabbit ears?
You know,
you got a rabbit ear with the little thing you click and you move there.
It didn't really matter what you were looking at. You do, yeah, it's a boob. It's a boob. It could be a knee, but it's a boob. But it's a scary thing, and I'm not getting into. I'm just telling you the way that I feel.
No,
and
appreciate that.
I'm always willing to have my mind open. You make a good point. Is if they're experimenting at that age, maybe it's time for the parents to choose whether they want to have that discussion or not.
Sometimes it's hard for the parent to have that discussion if they don't know how to have that discussion.
But should the school have that discussion?
I don't think so, especially public schools.
That's a whole nother debate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I personally
I don't
think
believe
so.
in that at all. That I don't believe in.
You know, I believe in being open and honest with my kids to a certain extent. You know, like Mike, I hate to tell you Santa Claus isn't real, but you know, my 9-year-old still believes in Santa Claus, and that's great. That's awesome. But
not anymore. Not after.
Not after hearing this.
You don't watch it,
fucking idiot.
I think the times are going down because they already don't believe in Easter money. But I have a problem with that. If you're going to be a parent is a huge responsibility. And I don't know if you guys are choosing to have children or not. And well, Mike's available for surrogate, just so you know.
I got my uterus taken out.
He's more Nick's type.
He's more Nick.
No, he's my type.
Kevin, you're in trouble, buddy.
You're gonna. Oh, okay.
You know what you did wrong is you didn't shave.
Oh, that's what it
You
is.
would have shaved, you'd be off the list, maybe.
Yeah, you should see me in the wintertime. The beard gets down to my chest. I look like Grizzly Adams.
Down, boy, down.
But that's a tough. That if you're going to take on the responsibility of being a parent, which is the most responsibility you will ever have in your life, you should also be willing to take on the job of educating your children, not forcing it off on somebody else.
I agree. I don't think it's a tough discussion. You know, I don't envy a parent that has to have that discussion. But I think the whole school curriculum thing is a whole political debate that could take us here all night.
Yeah, we don't do politics here. That's for
just getting back to that. Did your parents ever talk with you at all back then?
Oh yeah, parents tried to teach us what we need to know. You know,
did they know?
I think my mother knew. You know, she had 3 gay boys at one point. Well, 2 gay boys and
she
my
had
sister.
she had to know something was up.
Yeah, she had to know
point.
something was up.
Yeah.
When they were passing the Playgirls around from room to room.
Hiding them underneath their
mattresses.
Yeah, it's like, why are you always watching Tom Selleck? You know, but it's a tough.
I'll blame it on her. She made me watch Top Gun.
We had this whole Top Gun discussion about that's Maverick's walk into being gay. Which, if you haven't watched that video out there, go look up Quentin Tarantino's take on Top Gun. It's actually quite humorous, and he's out there. But how do you have that conversation with a child when all of their different friends are interested in girls, and you kind of know, like your parents, you said they kind of knew. How do you breach that subject with your kid?
I have no idea.
Well, do you two ever plan on having kids?
No.
No?
Nope.
Oh, you like money. That's what it is.
He likes his sugar daddy.
You like you like money. No, you know, it's a great experience to raise something from the beginning. And I see more lesbian couples having children than gay male couples. Like that, I have a lesbian couple that lives across the street from me, and they have 2 children. You obviously know which one is the more feminine of the 2, because I still believe that the way we're designed biologically is there's always a feminine and there's always a masculine. It doesn't mean that it's got to be a girl-boy.
Right.
There's always one, and it's very clear. And they're both wonderful people, and I love them dearly.
I mean, it's the same thing with this podcast. You got the masculine one and the feminine one.
No,
I'm in
You
touch.
sure about that?
I'm in touch.
Listen, he grows a beard just to prove he's a guy.
Who has chest hair, motherfucker?
I got it. I just don't like it.
Kevin, okay, you're gonna turn them on.
That's all right. I'm secure enough in my
Listen,
manhood.
I worked all day. You turn them on, you're turning them off.
You get them started, you got to play with them. Yeah, I get that.
Kevin's going to be 4 blocks past Route 4 tonight.
We got to bring this. We got to bring this one back. At what point did you finally tell you? Who did you tell first? Aside from your boyfriends,
I was going to say, hopefully his boyfriend.
they obviously knew. But who did you tell first of your non-romantic relationships?
So my close friends,
Yeah.
I confided in my close friends. I have a friend who's an officer in Bergen County, and he was my my best friend growing up. Always took me under his wing, always protected me. So I usually confided in him first.
And what was his reaction?
He didn't care. You know, he just, you're my brother, and whatever you do. Leave me out of it.
He wasn't getting any action anyway, so he's like, yeah, go do what you want to do.
Yeah, my friends, you know. I don't know if I ever came out to a family members. They kind of just figured it out, and it was just untalked about.
Well, one of the things I know about the gay men community, because I want to get into it. One of our sponsors is a company called Xbody. I know you guys are real like parents oriented. You know, because guys are visual. It makes perfect sense. Guys are visual. You know, women are
Audio.
Audio.
Yeah, they like.
Women are like, oh, you gotta love me for my personality, and you know, you can't judge a book by its cover. If the book's not interesting looking, you're not gonna want to go for it. If it's too thick, you're not gonna want to read it. Stuff like that. You know, I got a whole thing on that. But so Xbody US, go to xbodyus.com, and if you're into taking care of your body, they'll help you out with testosterone therapy.
We got plenty of that, buddy.
Did they give?
But listen,
do they give gay men?
You're 40 years old. Your testosterone starts dropping.
I'm still good, buddy.
But what would
You'll be my first phone call if it starts.
Wouldn't it be great to feel like you're 18 again? And that's what Xbody does. They have a range of services they provide, from cosmetic to overall health and wellness to your body, vitamin infusions, gut checks, because that's going to bring us into our next portion of this. Is you're a first responder, and first responders, it's a tough thing because not a whole lot of first responders I can see would be very accepting of it. You know, you got to change in a locker room. And I know guys that are like this. They're afraid to change in a locker room next to a gay person. They'll never want to do it. As a matter of fact, there's a comedian named Marc Norman, and he talks about one of his homophobic friends where I'm not shaking that gay guy's hand. He just had his hand on a penis. And he goes, well, you had no problem shaking mine, and mine was just inland. You know? So they become very homophobic. So, again, another myth I want to dispel here is every guy you see, do you want him?
No.
Really?
No.
God.
Depends
on the guy.
Surprising.
Depending on the guy.
Depending on the guy.
He's got your number, Kev.
That's okay. Listen, that's all right. I'm good.
We'll leave you two here, and Mike and I will go get a drink.
Coming over later, huh?
He'll be drinking something else from you. That's the problem. But how did you work into this field of first responder? Was it always just a calling?
So luckily we're volunteer, so there's not too much locker room action.
Yeah.
But you know, I've had guys tiptoe around me, afraid to talk to me, afraid if they're going to say something that's going to offend me or not offend me. It's tough. It's tough to blend the cultures together until you have that family-like atmosphere.
And like, how would they tiptoe around you? Give me an example.
Well, like if you were changing and getting dressed and they walk by, they'll stop, back up, turn the other way, wait till you're done, then they'll go into the changing room.
Ass cheeks out.
Yeah.
just in case you trip and accidentally put your dick into their ass.
They'll back out of the changing room.
It's a lot harder than you think.
It's like, really? Like it just surprises me. Like, really? I've seen that before. Are you serious?
It happens.
It happens? Oh, listen.
Until they get comfortable. Like when you take the time that you take the chance and the time to get to know someone, lesbian, gay, transgender, whatever orientation they are, a lot of us are pretty cool and you have a lot of fun. Right. Not in a sexual way.
Well, there was years ago where I was working at a restaurant. I think I was still in college, and the girls. I went out with a group of girls, and they went to a gay bar.
Okay.
And I really didn't know it was a gay bar. I didn't pay for a damn drink all night.
You're right.
I wonder why.
It was the greatest thing ever. I'm like, these girls have it made.
So my cousin, right? I forget where we were. We were traveling somewhere. Our whole family was away. Was up visiting somewhere, and he's like, "Take me to a gay bar. I've never been to one." So I grabbed my cousins and my brothers and my sister and go to this gay bar, right? And I give the bartender my credit card. I'm like, I got this group here, and they're dancing, listening to music. The end of the night comes around. I go to pay the bill. I grab the credit card, and the guy's like, "Oh, it's like $40." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He
You're
goes,
drinking all night.
I go, "My cousin's tanked." He goes, "Oh, he didn't pay for a drink all night." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Every time he came to the bar, he lifted up his shirt and somebody bought him a drink."
Oh, he flashed them.
Yeah.
That's
He's got those abs, man. He got the guys buy him drinks all night long.
that's not a bad deal, Mike.
I'm thinking about it.
You've been thinking about it a lot longer than just tonight.
You got to have the abs, though.
I did for a while. After my neck surgery, I lost them.
So did you ever come out to your fire department, or they just always knew when you got the job?
So the department I'm in now, they knew before I even got there, because open and proud. And in the beginning, they were a little nervous, but now they're a whole nother family, and I probably spend more time with them than I do with my own family.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen it from our perspective in our locker rooms. I'm sure there was a couple officers who were gay. There was a lot of officers who I called gay, because that seems to be a generic term that you throw out for somebody who is, I guess, less than masculine. But I've seen more masculine gay men than these guys, like way more masculine gay guys. So does that ever offend you when somebody says that? Like, I'll call him, "Hey, you're gay."
No, it's a word.
Yeah.
Doesn't gay mean happy? Really, that's
Mike's gay every day.
Faggot means a bundle of sticks.
Yeah.
And that's an offensive word.
So that's an offensive word.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, they're words, man. If you're going to be insensitive and take some of it to heart, then you're just as guilty as the person saying it.
This is true. If they, I was taught growing up, because I grew up around a lot of ethnical. Look at me, I'm starting to talk like you. You're rubbing off on me. It was racially diverse where I grew up, so we would use terminology towards each other that you would find offensive.
Right. You probably can't use any of those words today.
You can't, but it was basically because those words had no power.
Right.
So
and plus it was among friends.
Right.
Like I said, if you say it behind someone's back, then there's that negative connotation to it. If you say it right to someone's face in a friendly way,
right,
then you really.
But I also hold the individual accountable. Like, you use a word toward me, and okay, it's an offensive word, but you mean no harm to me. So why should I take it offensively?
You should take that word back.
Which one?
Faggot. You should take it back. Black people took their N-word back. Be like, "Faggot, please, come on."
Yeah, that'll definitely get you some attention.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you should take it back. You should start that movement.
Nah, I'm good, man. Let that one stay dead.
I'm trying to find some chink in your armor, because what I'm finding out is it doesn't matter what your sexuality is, whether you're a good firefighter, whether you're a good EMT.
Has nothing to do with it.
Now you've come across many bad firefighters who are heterosexual, I'm sure.
Could you rephrase that?
What?
He's come across a lot of firefighters.
I didn't say he came on a lot of firefighters.
All right. Listen, my mind out. I'm sorry.
He's deep into this, guys. I think you're like this close to turning it.
Yeah, as Nick gives him the look.
Gives him the wink.
Nick started staring at me a little more now than you.
Did you ever do that? Because I know there's girls who do that. Who will take a heterosexual girl and try to turn her.
That's so much work.
That's
so much work. I ain't got time for that.
Enough
What's
time
that?
in a day.
It is, but I tried.
You
Right
tried?
now with you.
Yeah, you might want to be careful what you ask for there, bud.
I'm gonna back out of the door.
You can rub off on me.
Listen, bro, I got no ass. I'm just letting you know. I look like a frog if you stood a frog up and put jeans on it.
Hey, Kev, that's not the part he wants.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Well, listen, I'm married, so I got that was removed.
Your wife will sell you. Don't worry.
Oh, she'll pimp me out in a second. But has there ever been a time when you got a little downtrodden about your? I guess I hate to call it a lifestyle, because it's not a lifestyle. It's because a lifestyle is something you choose, and I'm a firm believer that being gay, straight, trans, I'm a firm believer it's not a choice. But I'm going to use for this
Right.
for the
Purpose of this
conversation. Your lifestyle, has it ever gotten just like, oh man, why has it got to be this way?
It has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
And the demographics and where you are, it changes. You know, my first firehouse wasn't too accepting. I relocated. My new firehouse is unbelievably supportive.
Now, are you the voice? I know you just recently gave a speech,
Yeah.
which you sent me. It was really good, by the way. It was really good.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of sending that, and you pop up.
Well, yeah, you sent it to me by accident.
So, yeah, the county executive just honored the LGBT first responders and healthcare workers that stayed in the fight during the COVID pandemic. And I was chosen to be the keynote speaker and accept the proclamation on behalf of the first responders.
So I got a problem with this. I'm going to be very honest with you. It's good that they're recognizing you. But why is it just a month? Like there is no such thing as gay history. There is no such thing as black history. There is no such thing as white history. There is just history. You follow me?
I think it just follows the pattern with all the other Pride months that are out there.
Because I have a feeling, like again, this is just my own archaic way of thinking, that when you categorize somebody, you're able to put them in a box and define them, even though you may not agree with them or understand them. It makes sense of chaos to them, to most people. Like when I look at you, I don't see a gay firefighter, even though that's the name of this episode. I don't see a gay firefighter. I see a firefighter. I see somebody who's willing to put their life on the line for somebody else who they don't know every day of the week.
Yeah.
And that's just but that's the way I live. My family wasn't like that. I'm telling you right now, my family wasn't. They were very bigoted when it came to gay people. Like you were told, you stay away from those people.
Right.
Which is horrible.
Well, you said that the 80s, and then we hit the 90s, and things got a little better, and now we're
No,
in the 20s.
no, my father carried it through till the day he died. No, listen, I'd love to. You can teach a dog new tricks. You just couldn't teach him anything.
There's some that hold their ground.
Why? Like why? Why do you think that is?
That's
Old
it's not a question.
ideology.
Would your father be accepting of it?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've ever had that real conversation with him, but he never came
yeah.
out and said, stay away from them or,
He never came out, but neither has Mike.
Yeah, it's very possible. He probably already knows. Now, I've met his father, and his father's real old school. This is why I asked Mike that question. And the old school people, it's funny because the people who you think, again, I'm judging his father by my interactions with him, saying he's old school. He may be the most open-minded person in the world, but there's my discrimination.
Right. Well, we're all guilty of it in some way, shape, or form.
you'd be right with the first assessment.
Oh, yeah?
Listen, love him to death. He's just old school Italian, and he's set in his ways. Like I said, but he never.
But it's also the culture.
Exactly, that's the way he was brought up. He never talked bad about any gender issues, any
Right,
race
well,
issues, anything like that.
it's-
I'm sure he's got his opinions on it,
And that's,
but he never pushed them on me.
and that goes back to his parents that raised him and taught him to be that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Nick, have you ever faced any discrimination?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did anybody ever physically threaten you?
No.
No.
Not that I can recall.
No.
No fights, no nothing like that.
No.
Because I have a feeling too, when somebody does that, when somebody discriminates against you, it's telling you more about them. They have something that they're trying to repress inside.
Well, or they're afraid.
Yeah,
they're afraid of something different.
Yeah, but different. Listen, that's what makes the world go around. It's being differences. Our differences bring us together closer than our likenesses. So we could sit here and you said you're a baseball fan, all right? We could sit here and talk about baseball,
Right?
and that's great, But when we sit there and have an open, honest discussion about things we may not agree on, that's when progress is made.
Right.
We can sit here and agree all day long. So it served you well coming out. I'm sure it wasn't easy to come out. I'm sure it was a difficult discussion.
It doesn't matter who you are. The journey's tough. Coming out's tough because you never know who's going to accept it and who's not.
Have you ever had a friend of yours that just they're still inside? They're still in the closet.
No, I think growing up, I had friends that were in the closet.
Yeah.
Now, if I look back, I think they're all, all of my friends, they've all come to terms and they've all accepted who they are and they've all accepted that it's time to come out. I don't think any of my friends that I know of right now are still in the closet. They've all eventually come out.
Did you lose any friends when you came out?
No, I want to say, luckily, like I said, times have changed. We've made progress. I think I gained friends.
Because I was
You
going
know.
to say, like, we were talking like the old school.
Yeah.
If you came home, if little Johnny came home and said, "Dad, my friend Mark is gay," the father may say, "I don't want you hanging out with him anymore."
So I wouldn't say lost, but certain friends hung out with less, and
They
certain
distanced themselves a little
and
bit.
certain friends were like, "Oh, cool, let's hang out more," and you just kind of shifted the friends. Didn't really lose any, and then it opened up more doors to new friends.
Now, Nick, this is something for you, since you're a significant other of a firefighter, of a first responder, and I know we have dealt with that with our spouses, and especially in our critical incidents, because Mike and I were both in shootings. When he goes to work on a hot call, working a house fire, and you guys live together?
Yeah.
You guys are fucking. Why would you do? But anyway, does that pit of your stomach? Because obviously you care for this man. Does the pit of your stomach just ball up a little bit?
A little bit, because you don't know if he's coming home or not.
Right.
God forbid something happens.
And that only happens when you love something more than you love yourself, Because I was always wondering if that was, I'm almost positive I knew the answer to it, that's a commonality.
Oh, if he didn't feel that way, he wouldn't be here.
And you guys are engaged.
Yes, recently.
Oh my God, you guys, the best thing, the biggest selling point to being gay was you couldn't get married. Oh, I'd love to marry you, but I can't. And you
Now they
guys,
changed that. Now they fucked it up for all of you guys.
be careful what you wish for, guys. Be careful what you wish for.
See, you could get rid of that marriage real quick.
I'm not breaking up any happy homes. But that was the one thing that, again, I would love to get married. I know there's some downsides to it because of medical benefits, and it's a legal contract. That's pretty much all marriage is, because you guys can live together for the rest of your lives, love each other, and do everything in between. But then, like, if you're in the hospital, the way it was, it's a little different now, but the way it was you wouldn't be able to go into the hospital room if you were sick and dying, because it has to be a family member. That kind of sucks. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. So one of our sponsors is Toyota of Hackensack. So Toyota of Hackensack, they're a little bit different than the rest of the world's dealerships. They treat you like family. They bring you in. First responders, we don't trust anybody. We really don't trust anybody. I trust them. I actually know one of the owners, and every time he's taking good care of me. He takes care of all my friends. So go to ToyotaHackensack.com. If you're looking for a car, let them find you one. Honda, come on.
I'm simple.
It's nothing.
I'm not a car guy.
Yeah,
I just wanted a Honda Civic. That was it.
Honda Civic. That's a really gay car.
That's why they get them.
Damn right.
They got two of them in their house.
He could have got a Prius.
Yeah, that's
true.
ultra gay. No, that's not even ultra gay. That's just ultra liberal. That's all that is.
It's funny. You've brought up a bunch of times LBGT.
LGBTQ.
I was going to say, you never said the Q.
Yeah.
Every time you bring it up, you just say LBGT.
Well, I was always taught that queer is a derogatory
I think
term.
queer is an offensive term. If you called someone a queer growing up, that was offensive.
I think the word's less offensive now in our community.
Well,
I mean,
because now
still
it's
not-
accepted.
it's still not
LGBTQ.
appropriate.
Well, you took it back. That's what you did.
Kind of.
You
yeah.
took it back.
So when I was growing up, it was just LGBT, but now it's actually LGBTQI+.
All right, enough of this. You just are. How about we just say you are what you are?
They're taking
Enough.
they're taking over the whole alphabet.
Yeah, listen. We're A through Z.
We're gonna add K for you, buddy.
K for me.
Kevin, yeah, either LGBTQ or Kevin.
That's because I'm my own species.
There you go. There you go.
No, I just it just hit me that you never mentioned that Q, and I was wondering if there was any reason behind that.
Yeah, just because for so many years it was that,
It's
and
just
we've added
LGBT.
letters, and my mind's simple. I go back to the first thing I was taught. But yeah, it's LGBTQI+ now.
Because queer to me.
What's the I stand for?
I believe it's intersexual.
I was going to say indecisive.
Come on.
I don't know.
You don't want. Come on. But it was always an offensive term to me. But it didn't mean gay, really. It meant meek.
Well, queer means odd.
I mean, yeah, queer means odd, but it's again that's really offensive.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing odd about you
So
guys.
now they're calling you odd by calling you queer.
But it always meant meek. I mean, as a matter of fact, on the playground when I grew up, we used to play smear to queer with the ball. Smear to queer. That's what it was. So one person had the ball, and you just ran around from everybody, and everybody tried to tackle him. That's what it was. But it was about. It was more a term.
Now you know what I go through like on a weekly basis. I mean,
Listen, he's the reason we can't play dodgeball anymore in school.
Yeah, I am. But I told
but
you
they're going to bring back Smear the Queer.
But I told you
There's no taking that one back.
I'm gonna speak to you the same way I speak to everybody because I don't see you as any differently, and that's
Appreciate that.
That's my power is to speak openly and honestly. I don't, and it's not coming from an offensive place, but it's just that's who I am. That's how I talk.
Right.
You know,
I say all the time. One of my best friends, and he was from L.A. Actually, he lives in Ohio now.
it's him.
No,
It's his best friend.
he is the gayest black man you ever met. He is absolutely hysterical. If I'm having a bad day, I call him, and I know I'm going to be smiling by the end of it. I'm just going to be laughing. I mean, I haven't seen him in probably 10 years, but I know he's always a phone call away because he's always just happy-go-lucky no matter what.
He's truly
what's
a gay
going on.
man. He's a happy man.
He just sent me pictures of the Columbus, Ohio Gay Pride Parade the other day that he was in.
Now, one of the
And
things,
like I said, he's just happy-go-lucky.
you've showed me pictures of him, and he is very
Flamboyant.
Flaming is
Yeah.
another term.
Yeah.
You guys aren't. You guys aren't. I don't know. Is it the situation that
So I don't know. I mean, I have friends that are very flamboyant, and it never even crossed my mind for me to ask them why. It's just that's who they are, and I accept them for who they are. I was raised to be clean cut. Dress nice, present yourself.
why do you think that some gay men gravitate towards that? And lesbian women, you'll see the masculine form of the
I don't
lesbian.
know. In my case, it was responsibility. When I go out, even when I'm not working, I'm representing my town. I'm representing the fire service, representing the medical service. So I'm always representing somebody, whether I'm on my own time or on paid time.
Because it's a very stereotypical view of especially gay men. Oh, he's flamboyant, he's flaming, and I've seen this before. Where when gay men, especially gay men, get into a group, it kind of gets notched up a little bit.
Yeah, you kind of feed off each other.
Yeah. I mean, does that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been around some of our more flamboyant friends, and then you relax a little bit, you let go, and you just kind of
Your S's start to roll
yeah
a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I thought you said asses at first. I was going to say, what? You are such a scumbag.
Well, you're the one who owns the assless chat.
You got a pair of those too?
Yeah, I borrowed them from Kevin for a Halloween party one day.
But that goes all the way back to like the Blue Oyster Bar. You ever watch Police Academy?
Yeah.
The Blue Oyster Bar. And that was like the stereotypical gay bar. And I know they're not like
Well,
that.
that was a leather bar.
What?
That was a leather bar.
Okay, I'm
Oh boy.
okay.
Here we go.
You're gonna need another podcast.
What the hell is a leather bar?
Well, that was the Blue Oyster.
But what's a leather bar?
It's
You have to wear leather to get in?
all the individuals in the bar have a fetish for leatherwear. Did you notice the whole bar?
Yeah,
was all
I did, but I
guys wearing
never
leather?
put two and two together. I just thought that was the conceptual idea of what a gay bar was.
We'll
in
teach
the
you.
80s.
We'll teach you core math.
Well,
the other thing that's big in gay bars is they all wear like bright red shirts.
So, different venues, different groups. Like there's bars that focus to lesbians.
Mm-hmm.
There's bars that focus to the leather community.
a lot of cosmopolitans. Yeah.
Is that the?
I don't know.
is
I
that
don't
the
even
pink
know what.
drink?
Is it really almost like a theme bar type thing?
Yeah. I mean,
So like Blue Oyster Bar would be a leather bar.
There's a
and then
leather
you
bar,
have,
yeah.
Like a
Like when a straight guy sees two lesbian, he always hopes that they're two very beautiful women. It's never the case, So I don't even know how you would cater. I guess it's just a place where they go to, just like a cop bar or a firefighter's bar,
Right.
where you go to feel accepted. People are going to get you. You can be yourself.
right. You're around people of
you're
your
not
own,
judged.
Right. You're around people of similar interests.
Now, when you go out, with Marc around his firefighters. All right, do you feel accepted by them? Do you get it? Because again, this happens with spouses all the time, where they go there and they sort of gravitate towards the other spouses.
They all love me more than him.
I was just gonna say, I think they like him more than they like me.
Did you ever go to like the fire convention in Wildwood?
So we haven't been yet, but we go to the
I'm
one.
dying to go.
Yeah, we just got back from the one in Harrisburg.
Oh, in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, we go to like the Harrisburg.
They got some
show,
good
yeah.
restaurants out there. I spent some time in Harrisburg.
Yeah.
Not at your bar, though.
No.
I wasn't there.
How'd you know there was? How'd you know there was one there?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you had told me you were.
He was googling it.
I was Googling. I did my research before I came in here.
He was Googling it as he was driving through Harrisburg.
And
Where's
you,
a good place to eat?
Nick, you're in an ideal situation when it comes to the spouses of first responders because you feel your husband, your prospective husband,
Fiance.
fiance. I don't like that word. I don't like that word for male female. I'm not French. I'm American. This is America.
Fiance.
This is America, greatest country in the world. All right, we don't say those French words.
It's too hard to pronounce.
But so your prospective husband. That's the term. I'm going to stick with that. I'm bringing that one back.
Look up prospective husband dictionary. It says fiance. Go ahead.
Do you know what? It's a safe spot for the wives to be in because all the husbands are like, oh yeah, don't worry, he's gay. Don't worry about it. He's got no interest. When if you ever wanted to turn the tables, man, you'd have like a buffet. That's all you got to do. That's all gay men got to do is just have that like, yeah, today I think I'm going to change, and you kill it. You kill it.
I just try to go for their husbands.
Sausage
Turn 'em.
party. Sausage party.
It's called Friday night for you, buddy. But I'm very interested in the way you're viewing first responder world because you're coming in, and Mark, you were already in the first responder world when you met Nick. How long you guys been together?
Just over 5 years.
5 years. God, man. I still think you need to rethink this marriage thing. I'm going to try to talk you out of it because I like you guys and I want you guys to be happy.
Coming from a guy that's going through a divorce, I would stick away from marriage for a little while.
But it's an interesting perspective on life inside first responders, especially from another man.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently what I'm seeing, there's no difference.
No.
And there's no difference. The cool thing about you, Mark, is there's absolutely no difference between you and every other fireman that I've ever met in my life.
Listen, being gay isn't going to stop him from running into a burning building.
No, it'll actually probably help you go in there.
Yeah.
You've
I'm
already-
already flaming.
So you set him up.
You said it. I didn't. Therefore,
There was that softball. Here you
There
go.
you
Hit that one.
So if you were speaking to, again, I think gaydar is a real thing. I really do think you guys look at somebody like, yeah, they might have some tendencies to them. But if you were going to meet somebody in your shoes
Just slap him.
20 years ago,
It's not worth it.
who you might think that might be gay, might be closeted, what do you think the best advice, whether they're first responder or not, what do you think the best advice to give them is on how to best live your life to avoid the same pitfalls and a little bit of suffering that you guys went through?
Just be yourself. You gotta keep your friends close and live your life. The more you hide, the more you suffer.
We were talking before about like discrimination and stuff like that. How about just worry about yourself?
Yeah.
Don't you worry about me.
Stay in your lane.
You worry, yeah, exactly. You worry about you, I'll worry about me. As long as, if we're in the same profession, as long as we're getting the job done correctly, like, what do you say all the time? One of us isn't as strong as all of us.
One of us is not as strong as all of us.
So I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're black, green, yellow, orange. We're all there for one task at hand. Let's finish that task and worry about yourself.
Have you ever come across a save that you've had, either in the medical profession or being a firefighter, where somebody has found out and been a little put off?
No, I've had losses where people have looked at me and I kind of felt like they were judging my skills because of who I was.
Yeah, because gay men can't save people.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's just no way.
Like I say, in the EMT field, is there any incidents that really stick out to you where you felt that you were on a call that maybe someone was judging you?
I know Ashley, your sister, she had a big win out of it. She had a big win where she got somebody into a facility for help, and then saw her down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very rare that you come across someone you save later on down the road.
Yeah.
Usually you drop them off and those doors close, and as you guys know as officers, you never really know the outcome.
Do you plan, Nick? Do you plan on letting Marc be a firefighter for as long as you guys are together? I think that's your wedding vows right there. As long
what
as
he
you
loves
both,
to do.
as long as you
Nick,
both shall live.
you never wanted to be first responder and get into that field?
It's not for me.
But you would just join the auxiliary. So what's the auxiliary's duties?
Just whenever there's like a fire, we get called out, bring water, coffee.
Which is more important than you can possibly
Absolutely.
imagine. We
Especially
need the
those
support.
long sustained calls.
Oh yeah, we need that support, and without that support, we have a really tough time. So thank you for stepping up and doing your part. Where you might not throw on the boots and the coat, but you're
But
doing
you're
something.
just as a spouse of a first responder, you're just as important as a first responder.
Yeah.
Don't ever forget that.
And don't give them too much shit. 'Cause I know you guys fight. I've been on plenty of gay domestics.
Every day.
You guys,
He enjoys it too much. I just throw in a towel because he enjoys the fight.
oh, are you a verbal fighter?
I'm just an asshole.
Okay, so you know
The more you punish him, the more he enjoys it.
Oh, you're a masochist.
You're gonna find out later.
They did meet in that leather bar.
Well, do you have you guys on Instagram, social media? You have anything you want to throw out there?
So if you're looking for support, it's out there. Glisten has a lot of resources.
And what's your social media?
I have an Instagram.
You don't know it.
I don't know it.
As long as you follow the Suffering Podcast. you're
Nick,
good.
what's his Instagram?
I think it's MSHHETT on Instagram.
You got that, Drew?
I don't think that's it.
I think it's it.
I think you're off like one letter.
No, I think it's that. I think it's MSHHETT at Instagram.
Regardless, we'll put it in our
I don't
show
know if
notes.
it's the. I don't know. Hashtag Twitter, whatever it is.
Hashtag AssFire. Is that what it is? I think you guys should start that. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. Like I started.
Ass on fire is never a good thing, buddy. Never a good thing.
No.
This guy's ass is always on fire.
So I eat Italian food.
Yeah, I know.
It's probably just the Italian food. Don't lie.
But you have a responsibility beyond your current profession. You understand that. So people are going to look at you in the minute, and it's a lot of responsibility. And I hate to put this on your shoulders, but the minute you misstep, they're going to be like, "Well, you see, I told you, gay people can't be firefighters."
100%.
Do you ever feel that pressure?
Not really. I know it's there. I put that pressure on myself. Like recently, I had I broke my leg about a year ago. So I'm
Probably because you got gay bones.
Nah, I hit a tree. Hit a tree off roading. But no, like to myself, I know I'm being judged just on the medical aspect. Can he do the job? He's back. So I'm putting myself through the paces of proving myself to show that I'm strong enough to go back to what I was doing.
It's got to be sucked. It's got to suck to be a daily grind to prove yourself every day.
Yeah, it takes a toll on you.
But are people more accepting now, though?
Yes. Like I said, culture has changed. It's more accepting. But there's still haters and there's still hate out there.
I just don't see. I don't get it. That's the main thing. I don't understand. I can understand being gay. I can understand being trans. I can't understand the hate of it.
Yeah. We it's out there every day, man. Even still in the school systems. We get calls about bullying issues in local schools, and we go there and we try to educate the schools on how to prevent it. But it's still out there.
But again, they've taken away the biggest guard against bullying in the schools. I see this with my kids. Is you're not allowed to fight no more. You fight, you get suspended for a very long time. Mm-hmm. If when I went to school, and I'm not saying it's the right way, but at least it cured the bullying, where somebody was bullying you, it didn't matter what they were bullying you for. You punch them in the nose, guess what? You don't get bullied no more.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, that's just
Mike Tyson said it the best. Everybody's a tough guy till they get a punch in the mouth.
I want to ask both of you this question separately. I want you both to answer it. You've both gone through what some would see as not a very easy life. It definitely is not the path of least resistance. You've had obstacles to overcome. Marc, I want to start with you. If you had to quantify what your suffering throughout your life has taught you, and it doesn't seem like you've suffered all that much as far as physically, but emotionally, I'm sure it hasn't been easy for you from time to time.
No.
What do you think it's taught you?
Just to be true to yourself, stay strong. And, we all suffer in different ways. There's the suffering we have on the job, the lives we save, the lives we lose. There's a suffering in our families, and then the suffering about whether you're going to be accepted or not. Walking into a room with, two men, are they going to accept me for who I am, or are they going to judge me for who I am?
As long as you're not an asshole, you're cool with me.
I try not to
what I
be.
say. I said it all
Nick's
the time.
already said he's an asshole, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't usually need to be the asshole. I bring him with me.
Makes you look better.
Yeah,
And they still love me more than you.
I know. It happens. What am I going to do?
Nick, what do you think? What do you think your suffering throughout your life has taught you?
He pretty much said it word for word. Be yourself. Hopefully you're accepted.
And stop bringing an asshole everywhere you go. That's just a stereotype of gay men.
Someone's got to be the tough one.
It's really just be persistent and be who you are.
Yeah,
Embrace who you are, and
the more you hold in, the more you suffer mentally, and that's why we're seeing a lot of these mental health issues that are out there, and people that are suffering in silence. Ask for help. It's out there.
It sounds like you both embraced it, just like a prairie fire.
yeah. Oh, here we go. It's been a while.
It sounds like #prairie fire. It sounds like you've both
Episode
embraced
9.
this, and I gotta give my hats off to you guys. And now that you've been on our show, we will consider you family.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nick is going to consider you family.
Wait till later.
You don't sleep with your family. What's the matter with you?
Gonna consider you more than that.
You just ruined it. I was all into it, and then you just ruined it, Nick, by calling me family. It's just not good.
Then it's
I didn't say
it's
family. He
incest,
said
then, right?
family.
Listen, I was going to bring you guys honorary gay cards because listening to the previous podcast, man, I wasn't sure.
We're still not sure. The jury's out. But thank you guys for coming and having this open, honest discussion.
Honorary gay card.
I'd love to carry around an honorary gay card. Are you kidding me? I'd flash that. I'd put that as a magnet on my car. I'm not gay, but I'm an honorary one.
I knew whose cars I'm chasing later.
We seriously, we thank you. We need more conversation like this to get the ignorance
Thank
away.
you for having us in.
Thank you.
And you guys are welcome back any single time. And also thank you for these nice challenge coins. And if I have I know it's from your fire department, but do you want to give out the name of your fire department? I feel like?
Yeah, Elmwood Park Defender Company number 2.
I love challenge coins. It's going to be a prominent place in our studio from here out.
One of the only firehouses in northern Jersey to rescue an alligator.
I see that on here.
Yeah.
How did you listen out? What?
We got the company got called for a alligator in the Passaic River, and they got out there in the boats, and sure enough,
Elmwood Park.
4 foot out, 4 foot. I forget what breed it was, but 4 foot alligator.
The old East Patterson.
Yeah, Dundee
that's
Lake.
East Patterson.
Well, once again, thank you so much for coming in here and sitting
Guys,
down.
it really was a pleasure. I appreciate you coming
Thank
in
you.
open and honest, and I think it's great what you guys are both doing.
And that's going to do it for this episode of the Suffering Podcast. And let's think about all the stuff that we learned today. Normal is normal. Being good at your job has nothing to do with sexuality, unless you're a porn star. There is no gay history. There's just history. And there's no such thing as a gay fireman. You're just a fireman. And you're a damn good fireman.
Amen.
But most importantly, be yourself. And that's going to do it for this episode of the Suffering Podcast, the suffering of a gay firefighter. Now, you know what? We're going to scrub the gay. It's just firefighter.
Well, it's like, you know what you call a gay pilot? A pilot. You fucking.
You walked into that one.
Hey, I want to be an air traffic controller. Don't forget to follow us on social media, Mike _Failace, me at Real Kevin Donaldson. Don't forget to follow the Suffering Podcast, and we're going to see you on the next episode of this show. I'm not even going to say it.